Hi, Melissa Diegel here with an update. I would first like to demand that my court-appointed attorney file a motion with the court demanding that Judge Hoffman recuse herself. And here is why. The court has shown extreme bias in my case. She has helped to suppress exculpatory evidence. My daughters have been harmed in the state's care. They have continued to ignore all of the warning signs and the red flags. Several people who were mandated reporters stepped forward and spoke up. And this includes people like the visitation supervisor, a CASA, a doctor, the case manager, one of the case managers, the high needs case manager, the foster care review board, and these were all people that were paid by the state, some of them very highly educated. Combined, some of the education between all of them is 30 plus years, and they were still ignored. They placed this information on the record, and the judge ignored this information. Some of the information that was placed on the record was affidavits that showed Kayla was going 3 days at a time without eating. So the state was aware of this. The judge was aware of this, Judge Kristen Hoffman. And some of these people were threatened. Exculpatory evidence was suppressed. This includes the state prosecutors actually threatening the CASA and forcing the CASA to destroy audio evidence of my girls talking in the state's care. And that could have been the most important evidence to date, because that would have shown possibly that the girls were experiencing extreme abuse in foster care under the guise of the state, and also what they were experiencing under Dr. Siao's care, as Kayla lost 16 pounds and Hannah lost 13 pounds. And they suffered, Kayla suffered malnutrition and a vitamin deficiency as documented, and their feeding tube nutrition was withheld from them. And also, I would like to mention that from this case, the people that have been removed or kicked off of this case because of disagreements, because the state has removed them or that kind of thing, would be the therapist, the high needs case manager, the CASA, multiple doctors. We have, a supervisor. There's just been multiple people. If they don't agree with the state, then they're immediately kicked off, and their evidence is suppressed. This is, simply not proper due process. And in addition to that, I was locked into the courtroom with 19 other people who were paid by the state, and I was absolutely threatened by a sheriff who had his hand on his gun, and he had his arm wrapped around my shoulder, and while the Judge Kristen Hoffman, gave my evidence to the state prosecutors. She stole my evidence and gave it to them without my permission, and wouldn't allow it on the record, and then actually handed it to the state prosecutors, and I was not given it back, my evidence. I was locked into that courtroom with Brenda Birch, which is the #1 state key witness against me, and I believe that they were trying to antagonize me that day so that they could try to declare me mentally incompetent. And they appointed me a gal that day, which is totally inappropriate. So I'm demanding that my state-appointed attorney file a motion for Judge Hoffman to recuse herself, and that she withdraw the request for me to be appointed a gal. I am mentally competent. I have a normal psychological evaluation, and although I'm not a doctor, I do find that it's very odd that the state wouldn't accept from a psychologist with a PhD background that my psychological evaluation is normal, because isn't that kind of the definition of Munchausen by proxy? If you seek another opinion, of another psychological evaluation, if you keep seeking one, if the first one's like normal and then you keep going out there and seeking another, psychological evaluation, what was wrong with the first one? So anyway, this is Melissa Diegel speaking the truth. Thank you for listening. You can visit and get more information about multiple cases across the United States on www.amiraclefortwosisters.org. Thank you.